Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Town of North Andover Community Preservation Committee meeting on Thursday, September 21st, 2023 at 7 p.m. in Town Hall. Since all the members who can attend tonight are here in person, we are not doing a virtual meeting soon. We can put that on the agenda if we want to leave that up while it's still in effect. But I think without objection, if there's any objection, anyone wants to speak up, it's fine. It'll still be taped and the public still has access to the room. If the public would like to participate in the meeting, they can email questions or comments during the meeting to cpcemails@northandover.ma.gov. Question or comment will be provided to the committee before the meeting or read during the proceedings if received or shortly before the meeting. Okay. So the first item on the agenda is election of officers for chair and vice chair. And I'll just proceed to nominations.
I nominate Bill Callahan, chair.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? Okay. For vice chair?
I nominate Tim.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we have the officers. We knocked that off. Okay, first topic on the agenda is to discuss the FY24 grant agreement process for approved projects. I have a little update on the barn, and Terry, I think, has an update on the mural. So, oh no, I thought you had.
I think it's, well, okay, yeah, I can do something with that.
Okay. So on the barn, we're meeting on Monday to work up the grant agreement and things that are kind of on the margins or what's meaningful public access. We want to make sure that we're balancing the cemetery's desire. They're going to have equipment in there. Obviously, you can't just be open for public use, but the fact that people have guided tours, and we establish like a point person on each side, so that if the historical society or a classroom wanted to go up and take a look at the barn, they could.
So that'll be by appointment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we could just set like I bet if we set 10 or whatever number, we could set a number and say like obviously we don't want to burden them.
Yep.
But I don't know that we'll have we'll see what demand is once it's open and people know it's there. The other one is I wanted to put language in that says if in the process of cleaning out the barn, if they find any historic items, that they bring those out and let the Historical Society sort of take a look at them and see if they're of historic value. So that's what we're trying to nail down next week.
Yeah. On the mural, we met with them again. Since we met with them originally, there's pretty much a whole new group took it over. The people who were at the Stephen Coolidge moved on to other jobs. So we were meeting with new people. So they're on the same mindset though. They definitely are looking to build a strong connection with the town. They want to keep everything, but they want to just change the wording it's open as long as that program is available. For example, the lights. They don't want to say, lights forever, because there may not be lights forever. So they just want to. They would just want to change the wording on that, which makes sense to me. But they're completely open to all the same things. The lawyer is going to write everything up, and we should be looking at it this week. Should be pretty much should go through pretty quick, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's good news. And then I would say the other projects, going a little bit more slowly. So, if any of you know people who have projects in, we should, ping them. I mean, some of them are easy, like the boat ramp, it's a continuation. So that should just be, we roll over the same agreement we had last year. But anything else, if you're in touch with anybody, we should do that. I haven't had a lot of requests for reimbursement come through. And one thing I think we'll put in the application next year, we want to try to get a little bit more ahead of it and have a draft ready before town meeting, if it's all approved. So that way we can sort of hit go right when the fiscal year starts. Because, the Ridgewood, went out and spent money on the barn already and have work done. And I was like, probably want to slow things down a little bit so that, we make sure we have all this crossed. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to a good place. But, okay. Any questions on grant agreements?
But I am really happy with being so thorough with it. It really seems like when, there's not gonna be anything left of doubt when we finish with these, which is the way it should be. So it's going well, I think.
No, it's good because Chris O'Connor, the attorney, is very thorough, and I think she's had experience in prior communities, so it's helpful. It's a good background. It's obviously a very specialized area of law. Okay. So, fund balances. So, excuse me. The end of August, our fund balance was 16.7 million. And then, encumbered, I don't have it totally sort of buttoned up. Obviously, we have, millions of dollars outstanding on the playground project. That's the biggest one. Or the community fields project, sorry. And then, we have a lot of open projects that we're going to talk about today. So I would say, healthy fund balance for sure. But definitely a lot kind of standing out there. Just as I look at it, we have 6.8 in open space, assigned to projects and not spent, 2.5 to, so that's 9.2, and then 1.9 to affordable housing, so it's a lot, sort of encumbered. Actually, if I add that up, I could do this on the fly. Okay. All right. Okay, any questions on that? Okay. I also went through over the summer, I didn't know this, but I learned it, that it's a requirement for the funding to go through that we have to fill out the chair, so I'll make a little FAQ on that. The chair, the acting chair has to fill out with the state a description of every project and the amounts in there, and so that's where the database that's on the CPC website comes from. So I filled those out, and it looks like you're actually supposed to go back and clean them up and say, like, what happened. So I think I'll try to whittle those down over the course of the year so that, we close out the ones, that everything's updated in the database and we know what's going on.
Does that come from the chair?
Yeah.
I'm surprised it doesn't come from the town.
I thought it came from the town.
Yeah, no, it comes right from, it's an interesting public partner partnership because you get an email from, who's the guy who runs?
Yeah, nice guy.
Yeah, Stuart.
Stuart.
You get an email from Stuart, and he's like, fill this out or you don't get your funding, so you gotta make sure you fill it out,
Okay.
so.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so, next one, so on project balances, I think it's good always to have a discussion, kind of look through, hit the high points.
Yep.
And then we should, definitely schedule a cleanup meeting this fall where we just go through and close anything out where we're 100% sure we're not going to see any more funding. So why don't we go sort of, project by project? And I'm just gonna arbitrarily set this, unless, here's what I was thinking about proceeding, so we don't have to march through every project. If the project balance is like, either most of the project or over 50K, we'll talk about it. If it looks like, if it's 30,000 on $1 million project, like, let's not talk about it, because we can probably just close it out. We just can touch base with whoever ran the project and say, is it okay to close out? Because, some of these from 2000, like the Rolling Ridge from 2011 with 79,000 left in it.
Like, that's what could, we do this, but then they don't seem to get closed out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I mean, I feel like this has been an exercise that we've done more than once.
Yeah,
and
I
then-
was surprised too when I read it, so we'll
Yeah.
make sure we bang it out this year. Okay, so,
Can you actually get to the point where you'd send a letters, I'm not sure who the point
Yeah.
person is on Rolling Ridge, and essentially saying, you're called to a meeting, if we don't hear from you, we're gonna
right.
I like that.
unencumber
Yeah.
the funds, and let the onus be on them, and then it's basically an auto process.
I agree with that 100%, because yeah. I mean, there's ones we know that they're still, in particular,
Yeah.
any government. But,
Okay. So then as I go down the line, middle school athletic complex final design.
So,
that makes me
final
so
design is
mad.
actually, they've already exceeded the design budget. There's been a change order for actually additional work that's been done. So I don't know why there's a balance there.
Okay.
I could probably find out about that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That and take care of the McAvoy one too, that's got $2,900 in it.
Okay.
They're not gonna get those benches. We've asked them a million times. They're not gonna order them.
I can try one more time.
hey, for effort.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess that's really the town's call on the community fields project, right? Because
Yeah.
the money could come from this balance, or it could come from.
They could have paid it out of another fund, I'm not sure, but
Okay.
I'll get to the bottom of that.
All right. And then obviously, we still have 5.6 million for the community fields project. We all know the story there, that,
There is some progress now.
good.
I hope so.
Have we heard from the judge?
No, but the alternate design for the
Right,
workaround
yeah.
with the fence, the design engineer is moving forward with that, and there'll be a submission to the planning board for an insignificant change. So that would kind of eliminate that issue with the litigation on that part of it. The litigation for the approval of the special permit, that still is out there, but I think the town, I don't want to misspeak, but could move forward at their own risk on that.
That's a shame.
Just, I know it's quite a little bit of a side here, on that middle school project, is there any plans to reset? In other words, relook at it, because this thing is,
Yes.
okay.
Obviously, because of the
Costs will be-
cost increase have
Much higher.
risen significantly, yes, there is a potential to have it phased.
Pickleball.
I'll leave that alone.
Okay, the Cedar Boardwalk, I'm just calling that one out because it's most of the money hasn't been used, so
What year is that, though?
2020.
Oh,
So,
And you know, I've walked that back there, and it's done.
done, okay. So that's a good, so FONAT, it should be on the, I'll send an email to FONAT.
Who is building it?
This year? I think it's North Andover,
Trails,
Trails.
FONAT, yeah.
In fact, they got their little logo
A
planted on.
couple, the playground master plans, that we can check with the town on that. Those should probably be done.
I mean, as we're looking at these, I like Tim's idea of, like, some of these we're blind about.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, some of us sitting here can answer a lot of questions, but a lot of these we're blind about. And I'd like to pivot back to Tim's idea, instead of us sitting here, oh, what
Right.
do we do, and spending 45 minutes not really knowing.
Yeah.
Bang out a letter, the town bangs out a letter to all of these open folks who put in their applications and say, give us an update. I have to give quarterly updates.
Right, right.
Are we doing that? Because
There
I
is
don't
some-
think we are.
There is supposed to be updates on the
There's,
project.
right, and I give, for the projects, that Newburyport or
Yeah.
West Newbury have given to me, I have to give a quarterly update as to where it stands, where it's going, when I expect, and I really think we need that, because
Yeah.
in honest, I mean, I think this is a waste of time, because we don't know
Yeah.
a lot of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
No.
Gene, what's the process in writing a letter? Do we write the letter and then have who reviews it before we send it out, or do we have to get it reviewed?
I mean, you don't have to have it reviewed, we'd be happy to review it, but we're just gonna have to match it up to the applicants from years ago, that's.
Right.
Right.
Do some research to look at the application.
And-
And I'm sure
Do we
it's
need
the same
a
applicants on
closing
multiple
letter
projects.
for each
Right.
project for the
And in
applicant?
moving forward, I'd like to
remember
see
what
us
it
institute a quarterly,
We do have quarterlies, just some are much better than others at executing them, but it is one of the requirements, and we should strengthen it in the application.
that's what I mean, like, obviously some are better than others, I get that, but it would alleviate a lot of this,
Right.
you know, the unknown stuff that we're, like I said, that we're a little bit blind about. We put it back on the applicant. I mean, my applications and the money that, you know, that I use in my professional arena, like, if I don't answer them, they have no problem sending me an email, you
Right.
get me your thing, or we're taking your money.
Right, makes
And
sense.
I don't mean to be like, I don't want to be harsh to everybody, but I think it's more efficient and will actually keep us far better informed.
Right, right. Okay. Well, all right, why don't we go down, if we see significant ones we have big questions on, you know, and then we'll get how about we come back to the next, you know, we go out and just send letters. Like, I don't think we need, you know, I don't think it's something as a committee we need to review the letter together. I think it'd be simple,
No.
like, where are you with your project?
Right.
What do you
No.
have left?
Standard.
And I mean, I'd be happy to send you what I'm required in other cities and towns. It's literally, it takes me, I have 7 projects that are community preservation funded. Now, I'm a housing authority, it takes forever. It takes me 5 minutes, 15 minutes to do all of them. Do you know what I mean? It's real simple, it's just where we're at.
Yeah. Okay.
I just think it might be just, you
Yeah,
know,
no, I
beneficial
agree.
for us.
We probably should go revisit the form that we came up for the requirements for the projects, for
Yeah.
reporting and closeout,
Yeah.
just
Yeah, and I
so
think,
we're
like-
better prepared as to what we should be seeing.
Right.
Right, right. And I think, like, you know, to the point I made before the meeting, if we had this automated and everybody get an email
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
quarter,
Yeah.
Yep.
you know.
And that's what happens.
Yeah.
I get an email reminder from the 2 cities. I get an automated email. Your CPC reports are due.
Kind of streamlined.
Yeah.
Makes it easy.
And then we could take them right to a form.
Yep.
You know, and then it could all pump out into one spreadsheet that's,
Yep.
you know, this is what we have left. Okay, that makes sense.
So we're all probably just guessing some of these things.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, I thought that historic fire equipment was done.
I
Is
thought
it
that was
something-
long done.
Yeah, yeah,
There's still a lot of money left.
The
Right.
fire steamer?
Yeah.
The steamer is closed out.
Units?
Yeah.
I'm reading the wrong line here.
So if you look over all the way to the right is the remaining project balance.
It's restoration of historic fire equipment, 2018, I was looking 24,000.
Yeah, 24,000 left on that one, yeah. The steamer is all done.
There's nothing left to do on any of it.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
Yeah, so
The
that's.
steamer itself, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I was confused with, sorry.
So you know, I guess the big ones that I noticed, like the Schofield Mill, I know that's probably a
Yeah.
bigger project at this
So I
point.
think town manager has to make a decision on where we're gonna go with that building, I think. That's the holdup there, you know, because it's got that disease, can you
That's
speak to
right.
that a little better?
The Schofield?
Yeah, I don't know, other than it has a red X on it, but
You can't go in there, right? There's
Yeah,
something like
it has-
deadly mold.
It has some type of bug, it's got into the main beams, and they're saying that the replacement value would be crazy to do it, but there's a lot of people who just don't wanna lose that building, and, you know, so
Yeah.
it's kinda, it's in a hard place, so.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think town manager has to make a call.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'll put that on the list. And then we get into a lot of projects that are still, you know, ongoing. I would say that, you know, obviously we had a lot of historic preservation ones in 23 and 24, which is still, you know, moving along. Okay, and then open space is a little bit.
The library is one right now. We had the initial, did we add on to the initial? Is that what we
Right.
did? Okay, so,
Yeah, so we got 182, and I think we had 350, so it'd be the 5, whatever, on that, okay. So, yeah, that should come through. Okay.
Problem is they can't find a contractor to bid on it.
Even now, even with the,
That's
Yeah,
brutal.
yeah.
oh, wow,
It's brutal out there.
Yeah.
I'll call Stan. Okay. Good, and then when we look at open space, it seems a lot, I'm sorry, when we look at housing, it seems a lot cleaner, with the exception of the housing authority kitchens.
So I can bring you up to speed on that. That 1.4, the kitchens are underway, so you're gonna start. So it's a 2020. I know, it's 23, but that's DHCD. So they are actually in process. You're gonna start seeing those invoices coming in, because we are not allowed to use CPC money for design, any of that. It's only for the actual construction. Construction has begun, and it's actually moving quite along. You'll be hearing from Maggie Cleary, the executive director, at some point, because she would like everybody to be able to come in and see the new kitchens and the new baths.
Okay.
So that one's moving on.
Great. And then the other ones are all sort of, in process.
Yeah, I don't know what's this 22 NA housing for, that's got 227K. It doesn't have a project next to it, so I don't know what it is.
1388, I can look the project up, I think.
I can't remember what it was. But for definitely like the generator, that's long done. There's a lot of stuff that the capital needs plan, long done years ago. Bingham Way, the doors have all been, there's a lot that could be cleaned up under
Yeah.
housing for sure, affordable housing for sure.
What year is that project that we don't have the
22?
22? Okay. Okay. That is Fountain Drive for the design of the 12 affordable units.
Okay, that's why it's sitting, and it will continue to sit. We're actually meeting on Thursday with Habitat for Humanity,
Okay.
working with Cambridge Housing, that's gonna be a slow roll. A very slow roll,
Okay.
but don't take the money away.
All right, so I think then we have an action item to sort of write a form letter, send it out to everyone we can, and, and try to get status updates on all of these.
Yep.
So I'll take that up.
And invite them to the meeting if they want to come to the next meeting.
Right, that's a good point.
Procedurally, I think a non-response is like followed up by almost like a Dunning-type letter saying,
Right.
Yeah,
you were asked once, this is about the final notice. And I'm sorry to be harsh, but some of these things, the rolling middles, the rolling ridge, I mean,
Tim, I'm totally
Good-
with you. That's why I'm
good-
gonna
good
push
s-
for those quarterly
good
reports.
stuff, but
so.
it's 12 years old.
Oh, my God.
And people change. We turn over like at the trustees, and it always sets you back a couple years.
Yeah.
It's true. That's very true. But, yeah, 12 years is quite a bit.
Yeah.
Is that for the parking lot? I know.
Okay. Okay. All right, anything else on that part of the agenda? Okay. Then we have the minutes of the May 4th meeting. Tracy and John
Yeah, I'll
were
abstain.
absent. So I'll give a minute if anyone has any comments on the minutes.
Just make sure you're at the next town meeting.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion. Motion to approve the minutes as drafted.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Staying.
Okay. All right.
That's one thing at town meeting, that I was gonna suggest, we got up there and I felt bad. You were getting a lot of questions about things and, I mean, I would've liked to jumped in, but didn't know if we should jump in. And I was wondering at the next, town, going forward, if, so for example, I sat in on the meetings at the Stephen Coolidge, so should I sit up towards the front and get up and answer a question to that, or should we just not, just leave one person to answer everything?
That's a good question. At the time, I'm not sure if you saw, I did a little bit of a head thing to what's his face? But Brian, thank you. It's like, you know more, in intimate more detail on this stuff than I did, and I tried to run through it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of time that's spent behind the scenes throughout the year
Right.
of knowledge gathering that I was absent, and conversations with others helped me. I did prep, hours of preparation,
Right.
but some of those questions, just like,
Yeah, no, and they were coming at you hard, and I felt bad. And
Oh,
that was just before my hip surgery, and I kinda, but I was put myself in a spot where
Couldn't get up, could you?
where I wouldn't have to keep getting up, And then all of a sudden I'm saying, man, should I get up and go down there, or?
no, actually, I thought, in hindsight, at the time, you're getting hit from, I didn't expect the kind of questions.
No, I didn't.
And the way the vote went down was very interesting, since they bundled three of the items together, that almost made the whole thing come together perfectly for the CPC, how we wanted it. But in hindsight, I thought the deliberations were good. Some people, it's personal. At a town meeting, things are personal. They won't let me walk through the property anymore with the dog. Like, okay. I get that,
Yeah.
but
And there was a time where there was a group in there that did, and that's why we want to get this down on paper, so that the place is open now.
Yeah.
And you can go in there, because they're saying when they're closed all winter long, that is wide open now for snowshoeing, skiing,
Yeah, yeah.
walking, whatever you like. They just don't want to say it's open all, because if they have, somebody pays for an event there, and then people just come walking in with their dog, you can't do that,
I think the biggest thing really, and we've talked about this thing today a little bit as well as back then, was this public access.
Right.
If I'm giving you money, I like
Oh,
to
yeah.
have public
Heck yeah.
access.
Yeah.
And I think the message came across like that was a theme of ours, and I think it's going to be stronger as well. Even to the applicants in the future, coming in this next round, they have to know, this isn't private money, this is public money.
That's right.
And
What
it
I
comes
thought
with,
was really good is they actually watched town meeting. They watched it on TV, and so they got to see what type of questions came up, and I think they were a little concerned with that.
Yeah.
So, it was good.
yeah, it was fine. I know how to dance.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, I don't want one person to be thrown on a hot seat.
Well, that's
Yeah.
true, and I
And-
think we'll actually know better too as we get closer and we know what the projects will be that we'll be presenting, and then I think at that point, Bill's gonna know, who do I need for backup right there, who don't I need for backup? They may be real smooth projects this year, you know?
Candidly as well, though, I wish I had a little more intelligence relative to what the people who, the silent majority
Yeah.
was actually thinking before town meeting, because then preparation would have been a lot better. But I think we sailed through the rough waters fine.
Yeah, I think so too, and I mean, you never know how town meeting's gonna go down.
You really
You
never
never know
know.
what an easy project's gonna be.
That's
The
true, too.
craziest ones end up taking all the
It's a very
time.
vocal public.
So true.
Actually, it made it kind of fun.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, and then in terms of the agenda for next meeting and the date, we've usually done the second Thursday of every month. That works for me. I think we'll bring forward a calendar next meeting to try to lay out all the meetings. But, I'll work with Gene and Zach on, getting the spaces lined up and Cam lined up for the second Thursday of every month. That's kind of been a tradition, unless somebody has a conflict with their other committee or something. And so I'd want to do the schedule. I think we should look at the application Gene actually went like above and beyond and redid the application with all the dates that would correspond to the dates we had last year. So everything's pretty well updated and we can take a look at it. And I think we might have, like we said, a couple edits on, things we want to make sure are very clear in the application about, hey, don't spend any money before the grant agreement, and really, I think harping a little bit more on that public benefit, because
Yep.
really, like, when the town puts a restriction on something, that's like a property interest, right? So the town owns it at some level, right? Like if,
At
like
least
that,
has rights to it.
at least has rights to it, and we should get those, spelled out, and
Yep.
have it be meaningful and educational for the town, so. Anything else? And then I'll reach out to the regular speakers and try to get them on the calendar for we usually do October, November, December meetings are kind of, we hear from our frequent
Yeah.
stakeholders, and then do the public hearing, and then think we have the indications of interest coming in like late fall, early December, right? And then we can have people in, then we can speak to those applications a little bit, and expressions of interest, like that process where we're trying to go to the applicants and saying like, hey, you're off on left field, or hey, you should go down this path, or you should talk to so-and-so, so that when we get the final applications in February, they're vetted
Yeah.
and kind of done. I thought that worked well the past 2 years.
Yeah.
So we can look at that.
Yep. Agreed.
Do you want to dust off or and compress your PowerPoint presentation from 4 years ago, whatever it was, about what the CPC is all about? Do you remember? Obviously, It's, I think I'd condense it, but just, again, maybe at the next meeting, you have it out there for public record so that people are refreshed relative to what it's all about.
Yeah, we have to we have the one, I'm gonna get the name wrong, but we have one like public meeting that's, where we have to advertise in the paper, right?
It's our
And
hearing, right?
Our hearing, public hearing, and so like, that's the meeting we usually do, like the full.
Well, I'd like people to hear about it before
Yeah.
the application's so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, we'll do it early. Okay.
Okay.
So public hearing. Anything else we should cover next meeting? Okay. And then just thinking through the logic of the letters, let's say, we get the letters out first week of October, by the time we get them all out, I'm sure some will be very easy and just emails, and some will be much more difficult to track down. So, and then we could give people till, late October,
We might have to
November.
find out who the contact people are on some of those older ones. They
Should
probably
say they even
changed.
here.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember Rolling Ridge, which priest was there when we wrote that? I'm not sure.
The last one I remember was Jay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. They're probably gonna have a few of those.
I think they're reverends.
Um,
All right.
Do I have a motion?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this meeting is concluded. Thank you.
Thank you.